What's up guys, Meredith with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're checking out the C&L Blue Lightning High Output Ignition Coil Set fitting all 2011 through 2016 V6 Mustangs. Now if your ignition system needs some maintenance but you'd rather get performance than factory, this will be an affordable solution when it comes to upgraded coil packs. Now, coil packs are one of those wear and tear parts that eventually will need to be replaced due to normal aging, cracking, or even water damage. Now, this kit will benefit your Mustang if you've started to notice a lack of performance, whether that's a rough idle, lack of responsiveness, or it's escalated to a full-blown misfire. These will even be great if you want a pop of blue to match other engine dress-up mods, and you need to do a little bit of maintenance at the same time. Now these are going to be incredibly effective with an improved build over the factory with a hotter spark due to the improved windings inside of the coil pack. Now that increase in efficiency when burning the fuel and air mixture is going to smooth out that idle for a more comfortable experience with your V6, and depending on how worn your factory ones are, will probably offer a pretty noticeable power increase thanks to the improved ignition responsiveness. Now the increase will depend on the life of your current coils, so if they're pretty beat up or you're experiencing more extreme symptoms of bad coils, you'll most likely see that improvement compared to what you're used to with your old ones. Now this set will come with 6 packs in the kit and will be a direct plug and play replacement, so you can ensure a perfect fit every time. Now these will be made with quality plastic and rubber materials on the outside, which will resist those high engine temps and will ensure a proper seal on the head. These are again going to be plug and play. They will have built-in insulators and are going to have that improved winding on the inside that you can't necessarily see from the outside of this construction here, but again, that is going to provide you the improvement that you need with your V6. Now these are going to come in at about $175, being one of your most affordable options. Now compared to other choices, these do carry over the benefit of being a more high performance set compared to a simple factory replacement. Now this set also has overall great reviews from V6 owners, so I think if you're looking for a little bit more out of your coil pack setup than the average and don't necessarily want to break the bank at the same time, then this is going to be a great pick for you. Install will be a light 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. Nothing too difficult, though it should take you about an hour to get the job done with some hand tools. Now speaking of the install, one of our customers here has actually put this on their Mustang, and it's going to walk you through what that setup looks like step by step. So that is going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
So we've got our 5/16, 5/16 extension, half, then we have our half socket and our 3/4. This right here is a fancy little device. It's used to set the foot per pound, or if you're working on a European car, Newton meters. So you can adjust it up and down for whatever you want, and it will make sounds as you're getting closer, and then it has a sustained beep once you're at the required or desired spec. Hello everybody, my name's Chad. We're coming to you from my house over here in Lodi. Working on this 2013 Mustang. It's a V6. My intentions are to change the spark plug ignition coils, which are going to be right up top here. And currently, as you can see, they're black. So to start, I'm going to take the 5/16 and I'm going to use the 5/16 to remove the battery from the 2013 Mustang. Specifically just removing the ground, not the whole battery. So we're going to go ahead and loosen it up here. Alright, we'll set that aside. That way there's no chance of anything being bridged or us crossing any circuits. We're gonna take off the brace. That way we can access everywhere that we need to. As you can see, it's just got stuck on. Sometimes when that happens, in order to give you a little more help, I'll just pop it right back on the threads and then pull it off. We'll set these aside. Be sure not to lose any of the resources. All right. Work our way to the other side. Alright, reach on over, should just slide right off, no tension. And now that we have full access to the engine bay without the brace blocking any point, we have to remove some of the connections that we have in order to gain more access. So I think at this point in time, to minimize any potential debris getting inside to the manifold, because we'll have to remove this, we'll go ahead and we'll replace these three first. And then after reassembling and getting these three in, I'll disassemble this side and then I'll get the other three in and we'll reassemble it. That way to help reduce any chance of any debris getting anywhere it shouldn't be. Alright, it started getting a little cold, so I had to put a sweater on, but now I have the 5/16 socket with the extension with my impact drill. I got it set to removing these right here. Set these aside, don't want to lose them. Now, I have a little pick here. I'm only using it because I have gloves on. It's very easy to do if you take off the gloves, but I'm just gonna extend this red tab up, right? Up, and then now, while applying pressure on this tab right here, I'm gonna release the socket. I'm gonna use the same tool, but I don't want to damage anything, so I'm gonna use the butt end of the tool to press down on the black tab while I release it. Not much force at all. All right. So now, coming back over here for a moment, they do have a specific tool that's meant for prying these out of the head, but it's not always necessary. Got mine to just pop right out here. All right. Now, if you're just doing the spark plugs and you're changing out your entire spark plugs and not your coilovers, you want to make sure that you don't want to mix them up. So keep them in the same cylinder in which you took them out. When swapping them out, you can see I have some damage right here in comparison. Flush all the ways around. So now we'll go ahead and we'll take these three and we'll get them into place. Alright. Now this time around we'll take it off of the impact driver and we're going to swap to the hand ratchet. Now each car is a little bit different. For this Mustang right here, you want to make sure that you don't go over 12 pounds of torque. You can always look up the specifics for your vehicle. Alright, I got them started. Just getting them down right now, and then I'll come back with the torque wrench and now one of the easier parts, go ahead and reconnect your cables. They'll click into place. So there's no noise right now. Maybe you guys can hear it. I make sure that when I'm pressing them into place after setting them on the guides, I put both my fingers on the side and I push. I try not to push from here. Any pressing of any of the wires can lead to potential damage and pinching of the wires, and you want to avoid any of that. Can lead to more problems than what one would like. Now that we got one half done, we're gonna get started on the second half, and the second half is gonna involve disconnecting the air intake. That way we can remove the intake manifold, but we're not gonna completely take it out of the vehicle. We just want to get it shifted aside enough, that way we can access what we need to replace down below right here. As you can imagine, there's a little bit of work that needs to go on in order to achieve this. So starting off, we'll take off this guy right here. Any potential connections to the sensors that you may have going across, that way it's a little easier. We have a vacuum line that comes through here that we'll need to take off. That way we can be able to shift things. This right here is not necessary to remove. This should be your fuel that goes in. We'll be able to lay it right on top to the side of this, so have no worry about there. And when we take off this vacuum line right here, we'll be able to shift this aside. There's a little bit of flex in this with this rubber hose right here, so you don't have to worry so much about removing this entire line here. But you want to give yourself enough room, that way you can shift everything. So at this point in time, I'm gonna get started on removing the sensors that I have access to. And remember, you want to be as gentle as possible. I'm definitely a brute by nature, so it hasn't always worked for me in the past. And to be honest, if I just took a breather, if you're getting frustrated or having any issues, you know, step away from the car, go get some food, because it's likely you might not eat. I tend to always be on the go. Just taking my little pry bar, I'm doing the red brace that's right here on the bottom. That way it can just shift right out. And this is going to be a connection to one of your sensors. Pop the clip. And then the vacuum comes right out. This one, because I want to shift the intake manifold this way, I want to take this line completely off. Gentle with all your hoses and grommets. Working my way around. I think I'm gonna do this one next. This is a little bit challenging because of this hose clip right here. I have these longer vice clamps. Last time I did this, I had my cameraman, very handy. He actually helped me out and clamp these with pliers while I removed it. So if you have a friend at this point in time, really helpful. If not, this device right here will lock into place when I clamp down the hose, and it's long enough to reach both clips. So I'll go through, try to get it shifted into place, widen it up a little bit, and then I can get the clamp. Now it's free flowing and I can just whip it right out. Nice and gentle. And then I'll release the hose clamp. Love vice grips, one of my best friends. So now, before doing too much, we got another bolt that we have to remove right here, just a brace for your vacuum line. And now the line can just come and shift all the ways aside. The last two that I gotta do is this line, this one, and then we are getting really close to undoing the bolts to take the manifold up and off. Alright, we do have a cable that runs back here. You want to be mindful. I'm not sure if I can get it on camera. Right there, that's going to be one of the last bolts. It's kind of challenging to get to. So in order to make it a little easier, we're going to pop this clip out. That should shift the wiring harness just to the side. Right here, we have the tab right at the edge of the thumb. Push the tab down, you can even hear it click, and you should be able to slide it right off. This guy's got a little clip. So this one, I don't know if I can get it rotated or popped out. Try to get one side and the other side. Maybe if I can get one side with the leverage down, I might be able to pry it with my hook. Got my finger to hold in, get my little pry hook, and we should be able to get enough space in this guy. And a little clamp that holds it into place. Now to give me some extra leverage to get it out, take it out of its little clamps here. There we go, right? The little clip. These little forks on the inside, that's what I was trying to get unclipped, right? And I can put it back in because as soon as it goes over, it's tapered where it will just slide back on and lock into place. I'm gonna take one more glance, checking out everything, make sure that I don't have any connections that I need to address. And at that point, I'm looking pretty good. I can see there's one more bolt that would need to be resolved right here before taking out. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like this one has one. Now, to give myself some room, I'm gonna go ahead and work on the air intake. Gotta get this off, so I gotta undo this belt right here. Release the tension. There's a little slide right here, so you slide it out. That gives you some extra room. That way, if you wanted to take it off, which in our case, we do want to take this off. And at this point in time, I think we're ready to hit all of our head bolts that are connecting the intake to the top of the vehicle. That way we can shift this aside. Now, just because it's essential to not get anything into the intake, once you remove the manifold, there are two things that I'm gonna prep beforehand. First is I'm gonna get a little towel, a clean one, fresh, never used before. That way I can stuff in the manifold once I remove it. That way nothing can fall in. And two, because I live in an area with a bunch of critters that like crawling around everywhere, I'm gonna take my vacuum, my shop vac, and I'm trying to suck up some of this leftover debris that has tended to accumulate on top of the engine block. So bear with me while I get my vacuum set up. All right, I got my vacuum here. I was going through it, taking a look. It seems like we got one more right on top here. this thing has to come straight up when it comes out. So try to get under it and lift it up. And then we're gonna rotate it. The reason why we rotate it is because we still have some cables connected. This right here, this is exactly what I was saying. We don't want anything getting in. So before proceeding, take my shop towel, just get it in there. All right, so that's part of the way through. Now we're gonna repeat the process as we did earlier, just over once again. Grab my little pry bar, where I push down on the black tab, squeeze from the slides, and slide it up. All right. Alright, do a pull and swap each one. I also like to look inside my spark plugs, make sure there's nothing gnarly in there. Alright, return it quick. Alright, now before I go to reassemble, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my torque and get it done. Right to 10. All right, we'll give you a nice side shot of that before we go back to reassembling. Nice and careful when we remove our towel. And when we set our intake back on place, remember that it's gonna come right back on top and shift it right down. So we'll rotate it. We'll line up the front, use the front as the guide, and then the back, and then you should get it shifted right into place. Alright. So, gotta get everything put back together, reassembled. Now we're on the downhill trend. Now we're going in reverse. This is the hose clamp that required some pliers. Maybe not if you had 4 arms. You could do this yourself. Got it locked. Now we'll just slide it back into place. Get it clamped back down. Alright. We are just moving and grooving. Don't forget the bolt that goes right back up top. Take Make sure to reconnect everything that we disconnected. Make sure to get our hose belt back down. Look, you can see a little bit of the blue on this side. You know, not much. All right, now we got set up with our torque wrench. All in all, I got the vehicle reassembled now. If I tried to start it, it wouldn't start. And not because anything was done wrong, but just because we have to reconnect the battery. Alright guys, fully transparent, I have done it before. So if you're doing it for the first time, it does take some time. Just be very mindful of everything that you disconnect and make sure that you reconnect it all.
So that's going to wrap it up for my review and the install of this C&L Blue Lightning high output ignition coil set fitting all 2011 through 2016 V6 Mustangs, and you can find this right here at AmericanMuscle.com.